In this video, we review our revision of algebra. More specifically, we're going to have a quick relook at BODMAS, or what we now call BEDMAS. Then we're going to have a look at order of operations. Then finally, we're going to look at the algebra rules pertaining around addition and subtraction, as well as multiplication and division. So getting into it, we're going to go scroll down a little bit on our page. Then we're going to put in a new subtitle and we'll call it order of operations. Alright, so when we're deciding, we have an equation, when we're deciding the order in which we evaluate each part or each term in an equation, what we do is we first start with our brackets. We then go on to our exponents, followed by division, multiplication, addition, and finally subtraction. Now, what does all this look like, you say? Blue pen. Imagine that we have something along the likes of A plus B. When we're talking about brackets, what we mean is that brackets being these orange things. So what we're going to do is, if we go, let's put a green one there. What we're going to do is, when we say brackets first, evaluate the blue first. So what we do is we evaluate what's inside the brackets before moving to the outside of the brackets. Now the next one is exponents. So this might be new for a number of you guys. In the past, rather than having BEDMAS, you may have been working to something called BODMAS, and you'd say brackets of division. In high school, we say BEDMAS, brackets, exponents, division. So what that means is, imagine that we've got something like 2 to the power of 2. Or imagine that we've got something along the likes of a to the power of 2. Or perhaps we've got something along the lines of a to the power of n. The orange part in here is called an exponent. You won't see these too often in year 8, but you'll start to see them more often in year 9. So what this means is that after you evaluate your brackets, you evaluate these exponents, so the numbers and the letters written in orange. Now going down from that, we have division, so simply the division symbol, multiplication, addition or plus, and subtraction. Now what this means is, when we see an expression and we try and evaluate it, first we do the inside of the brackets, then the outside. Then if we have any exponents, we evaluate the exponents. If we have a division, we do the division, then the multiplication. Then after all of those have been done, we can do addition and then subtraction. So we need to follow this order, otherwise we won't get the correct answers. Now going down from there, what we're going to look is the operation opposites. Now, what do I mean by operation opposites? Well, imagine if we're doing times. What is the opposite operation to times? And some of you may have guessed it. The opposite to times is division. What about if we have division? What's the opposite of division? It is times. So, don't write this little bit down. But say, for example, if we had 5 times 3 equals 15, what if we wanted to reverse the times 3? What we can do is we can go divided by 3. And if we divide by 3 on both sides, what we end up doing is we get 5 equals 5. So this is a little bit of ahead of what we're up to, but it's good to have this down. Make note that times and division are opposites. Now, on top of that, times and division, we've got plus and minus, or addition and subtraction. The opposite to it to addition is subtraction, and the opposite to subtraction is division. So if we have, say, $5 and someone gives you another $5, the opposite operation to giving you $5 is taking $5. So therefore, the opposite operation to addition is subtraction, and similarly, the opposite to subtraction is addition. Moving on. Imagine that we have, well, let's just write algebra, addition and subtraction. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the laws or the rules around addition and subtraction of algebraic terms. Imagine that we've got something along the likes of, we'll go 3x, and I'll rewrite that x as a different color. We'll do it as blue. 3x plus 4x plus, and we won't go plus, we'll go take 2x. So what we've got here is we have an expression, and what we want to do is evaluate this expression. What we're going to do is, firstly, we'll add the 3 and the 4 together. So when we add 3 and 4, what we end up getting is 7x minus 2x. And then subsequently, if we do 7x minus 2x, we're going to get 5x. So what you may have guessed from looking at this form is we add and subtract the coefficients. So just to reiterate, when we are doing addition and subtraction using terms that involve coefficients and variables, or we're doing addition and subtraction with terms that involve variables, we simply add and we simply subtract the coefficients of these terms together. Now, imagine that we have 1x. We'll change that x back to a blue. 1x. If we have 1x, we can simplify this down to simply x. So if we have one lot of x, we can simply rewrite it as simply x. So the 1 in front of a variable, so a coefficient of 1, can be dropped because it can be implied. So the 1 in front of the x is implied. Now let's have a look at algebra, multiplication and division. Alright, consider we have something along the likes of 4 times, actually we'll do it in a different color. We'll go 4 times 4 times 2 times x. Alright, so we've got this expression here, 4 times 2 times x, and we want to evaluate that. So what we're doing is we're multiplying the 4, and then multiplying by x. What we'd find is that, sure enough, we can multiply 4 and 2 together, and we know that's going to be 8. And we're going to have an x in there. But moreover, we can simplify this down even further, and rather than saying it's just 8x, what we can do is we can drop the x, or drop the times, and it simply becomes 8x. So what we find is that when we have 8 and x together, it is implied multiplication. So just to reiterate, when variables are written next to one another, it is implied that they will be multiplied together. Alright, moving on, let's have a look at some division. Imagine that we've got something along the likes of 4, and we'll go divided by x. So what's going on here is we've got a 4 and we're dividing by x. Using our algebraic laws, what we can do is we can rewrite this as simply 4 over x. So we rewrite it as a fraction. The top of the fraction, remember, is called the numerator. And what this is implied is that 4 is being divided by x. So when we have a division symbol, alright, so what we have is when we're rearranging it as a fraction, what we're going to write is the factor. The factor on the left of the symbol here goes in the numerator on top, and the factor on the right goes in the denominator. Right, so I think that's enough rules for one day. What we'll do now is we'll practice some algebra revision.
Scegli un rie, sciuccherie, ma chi rude